Hello, hi, good evening. Good evening, everyone. This is Christine Crowell, and welcome to the channel. And today it's about who is loading up on all of the physical gold. Wow. Now, there's something big, a big shift is happening, and I'm so glad that I'm able to be here to tell you that there is a big shift happening. Now, people have been buying gold for many years, nothing new, but there's something more new about this because we have got, obviously, we're going into difficult times, uncertainty, for example. And the things that you can rely on is starting your own business, for one, to generate income for yourself. But also this, with the gold and silver, you can't go wrong with it as well. So let me just break it down for you a bit further. So welcome to this live session, everyone. And today I'm going to be diving into one of the most intriguing trends in our global economy. The surge in gold and silver deliveries to America is getting massive. But what I also want to say to you is I believe now that silver is, like I said, I talk about gold and silver, and gold being more valuable than silver, obviously. But we also need to look at getting both, because silver, I believe, could in the future become quite strong as well. And just from with things that I'm seeing people are purchasing, for example, because obviously there's only so much gold, right? So why is this happening, first of all? So what does it mean for investors? For example, global financial markets, for example, because you know what, the stock market, we don't know what's happening with it. 1 minute it's up, 1 minute it's down, for example. So it's time for us to really look at what is a good opportunity for you, for example. So stay tuned and I'll break this down for you. So first of all, I'd love for you to drop a comment. Do you invest in gold or silver or any other precious metals? Hit the like button and share this live stream if you're interested in preserving your wealth, for example. Now, I'm going to be doing another video. It's going to be uploaded here. And I think it's important to continue with this theme with what's happening today, for example, around the world. So my main discussion is going to really be about the steps, like the precious metal, and the growing demand for gold and silver is getting stronger even now as I'm speaking. Precious metals are historically seen as a safe haven asset. Now imagine, right? Remember I talked about last year, or maybe you didn't. Maybe this could be your first time listening to me. I've been in healthcare businesses now for 35 years, for example, but I've also had my own where I was buying scrap gold and turning them into gold bars in 2009, 2010, for example, with my husband, for example. And I think it's so important that we continue to do this, because even if, like when I spoke last year before the UK budget came out, I said that there's inflation, and this was in September. I started talking about these things, about saving small amounts of money each month, and basically for if there was an emergency or crisis, or even for a holiday, or even for for your pension, for example. Now, if you was to look at saving, it depends what your income is, for example. So if you can afford to save, say, 400 a month, for example. Now you got to have a plan, of why you want to save it, because otherwise it starts to, that feeling, that thought, that plan kind of fades away. You've got to have a plan of why you are doing it, because you will have to face some things that are uncomfortable. Like, for example, not go out, for example, every day, or not eat out for a meal, for example, and perhaps do it just once a month, for example. I'm not saying to, just go cold turkey on everything and, just save and save and save, because you've got to have a plan in place. Now, some people do this for their retirement. Some people do it as a savings, for example, because it always is valuable to have gold and silver, right? So these precious metals are historically seen as a safe haven asset. So whilst the economy is uncertain, we've got inflation, we've got market volatility, institutions, individuals are turning to gold and silver. Now imagine if you was to save 400 a month, for example, and then you brought a gold coin, for example. You put it into an asset, gold or silver, depending on what you can afford. If you can't afford 400 a month, then do 200 a month, for example. And then on the third month, for example, then you can buy yourself a coin, like a quarter ounce coin, for example. Now these will mount up, and I'm going to do a video about that next. That's going to be uploaded here, about that type of savings, so that you can have a plan in place for these gold coins, for example. But there has been a sudden surge in the deliverables of increased demand for what is known to mean that these prices, for example, and the supply. So another thing that we need to think about is, number 2, is single entity coordinating these deliverables. So reports suggest that one major player may be behind these scenes, may be behind these massive deliveries, and we'll probably find out in the next couple of weeks. It's kind of like top secret at the moment, but I can imagine who it could possibly be, because I've been reading up about a few things, for example. So could this be a centralized impact, pricing, availability? Could it? What happens in history when gold was concentrated in the hands of a few? So I just want you to think about that for 1 second, for example. Now, we've seen on the news, in the stock market, we've seen that Warren Buffett has been selling his stock. But what else did he buy? He would have to buy something, for example. So I believe that he's investing it in gold. And he's brought a lot of gold, if it is him. I can't say 100%, but it's a lot of gold that someone has brought. It's either a person like Warren Buffett, or it could be the Federal Reserve. I'm not sure. We will find out in a few weeks' time, for example. So the dollar, as we know, is weakening, impact on gold prices, but also the pound isn't doing so great either in the UK. So how does this play into the recent economy, the policies? We've had the tariffs going on, all of these things. So people are panicking. So they're thinking, okay, the money is going down, for example, so what can I do to increase? So there's like things you can do. You can start your own business, side hustle, whatever you want to call it. property prices, they might start going down, so it might be a good time to buy property. But there's also gold, which doesn't cost loads and loads of hundreds of thousands of pounds, for example. You can start off small, but it's something that you can keep for years and years and years, and even be used for your retirement, because we don't even know. I shouldn't say we don't even know. It could be a case that we may not get the retirement money that we expected as well. So we've all got to be thinking ahead of the times, for example. So inflation rates, like I said, the currency devaluation, and also the economic uncertainty. I'm not going to beat around the bush. We're seeing it all the time. It's everywhere, for example, in the news, because that's sometimes people want to cause scarcity and make us feel frightened, for example. The dollar is, but then obviously all those job losses, people losing their jobs, there's a lot of things that we're seeing outside of what the politicians are saying, that we are seeing that people have lost their jobs, even though some of them have been reinstated. So I'm still trying to catch up with that as well. Very confusing. And it must be, difficult for those going through that right now. So, like I said, the dollar is weakening. And the impact on gold, this is going to really help you. It's not going to devalue. I believe it's not going to devalue it. I think it's going to make it more valuable and harder to, it'd be more expensive to buy, because currently it's $3,000 for an ounce of gold, for example. And I'm just using that as an example. So number 4, we got the China shift from US Treasuries, to gold. China has offloaded its US Treasuries while increasing its gold reserves. Why this strategy? How does this reflect the global shift away from the US dollar? Well, the impact of this move on the gold market and the global financial stability, that's the impact. Number 5, Berkshire Hathaway involved. This is Warren Buffett's. Warren Buffett has historically been skeptical about gold, but recent movements in the market, it raises the question, could it have been Berkshire Hathaway that they're shifting its stance as inflation rates eats into cash holdings? So what would that mean for gold prices if Warren Buffett and other institutions enter into the gold market? So the political and strategic use of gold. Nations are using gold to strengthen their financial security amidst global instability. So Fort Knox, for example, banks, big institutions like Federal Reserves, for example, they keep gold to ensure that at least they've got gold that's going to hold its value than the cash. Yeah, we don't want to be printing money and it's just, we're just doing it for the sake of it, and we're not getting any true value, for example. So how central banks around the world are accumulating gold and what that means for individual investors. So there is a shift which is deepening in the global monetary system. So nations are using gold to strengthen their financial security amidst this instability. So examples of market manipulation in the past is central banks, ETFs, future contracts, for example. The disconnect between physical gold and paper gold markets. So these have been able to deliver physical gold that can expose market manipulation. So they're shipping tons of gold, literally, as I'm probably speaking right now. But there is a debate around this, and it's the Fort Knox audit. Because really the Fort Knox, they do an audit, but how well of an audit do they do? And Donald Trump mentioned, and I'll go into that. So there's been a call for audits to be resurfaced. So Donald Trump, the president, and Elon Musk have both mentioned it. You've heard them on the press, haven't you? You've heard them on television. They've said it online. You know, we keep hearing about it all the time. I remember Fort Knox when I was a kid. It just seemed like, you know, some dream world of where I knew there was gold bars there, but I didn't think of the, you know, the magnitude of it, for example. So they've called for an audit, and this is now resurfaced. So what could or would an audit of Fort Knox reveal? And this is just my speculation here, or maybe not, for example. You know, don't take my word for this. I'm just talking as a natural way that I'm talking to the camera. So would it increase trust, or would it create chaos? Speculation on whether all the US gold reserve are actually intact. We keep hearing the president say, is the gold there? It may be gone, you know, which I think is a bit negative, you know, until you see and you've got the facts, for example. Another thing that we can look at is the current state of the silver market. And don't forget, the silver market may end up being the actual, you know, the tortoise that won the race. You don't know. You really don't know what that future is going to hold. It could switch because there's not enough gold, for example. So everyone's starting to buy silver because silver is just as valuable, not just as valuable, but it takes a lot to get to the same weight as what a gold coin would be, for example, or bullion or ounce, for example. So silver, it has a dual role, and it is a precious metal and an industrial commodity as well. So raising demands for renewable energy, you know, they talk about steel, don't they? You hear them, but they mention it, solar panels and industrial applications. So could silver actually outperform gold in the coming years because of the demand with the AI and the data centers and chips and blah, blah, blah? Remember, computers used to have gold or copper in them or something, for example, and it was quite valuable, where you would take a computer apart, a laptop apart, and you would take the gold parts out or the copper parts out, and then you can sell them. You know, that's how they were back then. So could silver outperform gold in the coming years? We will have to wait and see. And I would love to know myself, because I think it possibly could do with the need and the demand for all of this energy, for example. Excuse me. Excuse me, sorry. So, what does this mean for you? Should you be investing in gold and silver right now? Well, possibly, or as soon as you can. Are these signs of a major shift in global financial systems? So, what do you think? I would love to hear your comments in the chat, because I'd also love for you to subscribe to get further more insights into gold, silver, and and precious metals. And I'll be discussing the future of this as well. Like I said, we, doing a gold party, it was such fun when I did it many years ago, 2009, for example, when it was kind of like the rage. And, it's a good way to make income as well. It's a good side hustle, but also it's good if you can turn it into gold bars, and then you can use that as your savings, rainy day savings, maybe your pension. Because, for example, if someone was to, and I'm going to do a video on this anyway, it's going to be uploaded, but if someone was to buy, say, a 1/4 ounce of a gold coin every month, for example, in 10-15 years from now, it could be worth hundreds of thousands, if not more, for example. And that is a pension, or you could purchase a house, or you can give it away as a gift. So if you found this valuable, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. Do you believe gold will continue to rise, or do you think that it's heading for a major shake-up? Share this video, and next time we're going to dive more into the central banks, the gold buying habits that could reshape global finance. So don't miss out, because I want to be able to share some of the things that I used to do many years ago, and it was a good system, for example. So have a look at it, look at this video, and then go through it. I'm going to be uploading another video after this one, and this one is really a good video as well. It talks about gold, and if we was to save it, what would the benefits be as well. So stay tuned for that as well. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video today, and I look forward to speaking with you all very, very soon. Like I said, hit like, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts on whether you're feeling that gold or silver is the better option, or both for you at the same time. So have a wonderful, wonderful evening, everyone, and have a blessed day. Thank you very much. Goodbye.